One, two, no, two, ready, go. Okay. Keep playing softly. Keep playing softly. Keep playing.
Happy Father's Day.
Stand up and turn to someone and say something your dad would say to you. I wish I could have recorded that interaction. There must have been plenty of pulpit material in your responses to each other. So I'm Reverend Michael Heinle. I have the pleasure of serving in this beloved community as senior minister here. And I want to welcome especially the first-time people here and know that from whatever spiritual path or faith tradition you're from, we're an inclusive community, and you are certainly, certainly welcome here. We have a visitor's package outside the front door, and come see me or anyone else if you have any questions. We'll get all your questions answered. And we like to start our service by reading our mission statement together. It's on the front of your program. If you can, read with me. We are a loving spiritual sanctuary where everyone is welcome. We celebrate the abundance of life through study, inspiration, gratitude, and service. With open hearts and minds, we participate in self-transformation for a world that works for everyone. We have a fabulous program for you today. Our beloved musician Alan brought another very talented ensemble with him as usual. The practitioner of the day is my dear friend, Reverend Donna Baronier. Thank you, Donna. And not to be upstaged by Nicole, she brought two talented and beautiful and strong female members from the congregation. So I brought two talented, beautiful, and strong male members. And Rock Robbins and Chris Johnson. So give them a warm welcome. And we're going to share the pulpit together. And so there's lots of announcements in your program. We have lots going on here. But we have three very special announcements I want to call to the podium. First, Sylvia.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Next Sunday, I'm having a workshop. It's a visioning workshop. We will create vision boards. It's a lot of fun. I will also serve a light lunch. So I'd like you, if you'd please sign up so I could know how many will be there. And it's from 12:45 to 3:30. So I just love you to come join us and have fun as we create vision boards. Thank you.
And now I'm looking for members of our teen group to come forward.
Good morning, everybody. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed when you were walking in, there's a little excitement right by the front door. We are raising some money to send our wonderful teens to camp. Yes.
You ruined me.
One of the things that they teach the kids at camp is to be on time. So that's why we need to send them. Okay, just kidding. Okay, so Miss Lisa and I had the opportunity to go to advisor training at camp, and just those 2 days were like ridiculously transformative and amazing. And if I had it my way, every teen in the world would go to this camp. I mean, what you learn and experience there is it's undescribable. So what we're doing is we are selling these beautiful T-shirts. We have adult sizes and kid sizes. We are also selling these fantastic hats. Show them the back. It says, "All you need is love." Yeah. All you need is love. And also the totes. And we're also selling baked goods. And so if you need a last-minute little treat for Father's Day, a Father's Day gift, you can pick those up on your way out. And so come support us. We really, really appreciate it. And now a couple of our teens are just going to say a brief word about their camp experience. Haley.
Okay, just to start off, teen camp is an experience that you'll never forget, and it's life-changing, and like people come together from all backgrounds, and there's just so many different types of people, and you all come together as one, and it's just it's so amazing, and there's so much love and acceptance, and it's very transformative. And prior to camp, I would never be able to come up here and actually speak about this to you guys, And it teaches us a lot about our philosophy too, and I've learned so much about it, and it's so you just embrace it, and it's just so amazing. I don't know. All right.
Okay, and now April is going to speak briefly about her experience at camp. And just real quickly, April is our high school graduate. Yeah! And Malachi is a high school graduate. Yeah! Okay, here's April.
I know I'm really excited because this is my last year being able to go to camp as a camper, and no, so I've got a lot from it before, and it's kind of helped me shape what I want to do with the rest of my life and open up my perspective. So I'm trying to make videos and open up different perspectives. So this philosophy is helping me really figure out what I want to do for the rest of my life, and I like it a lot. So.
Hey. I didn't really have anything prepared. I kind of had to run up last minute. But camp is pretty great because you go and you can meet total strangers and they just end up becoming like lifetime friends. And they're just so like accepting towards you, and they're like just happy to see you even though they don't know who you are yet. And they'll just stay with you like forever. What's your name? Elliot. My name's Elliot. And Malachi, he's going as an advisor and a counselor. Yeah, so I'm sure he'd love to tell you about that.
So come see us by the front door, back door, front door on your way out. Thank you.
Thank you.
And parents, we had to use Haley's term, literally force her to go to camp the first time, so it's worth it. So I understand Pam Watanabe has a special announcement by some people you might know.
Not yet. He was expecting me to do the invocation, but I was not feeling well a couple of days ago, so I asked Don to step in for me. However, who was at the fundraiser? And did you have fun at the fundraiser? Yeah. Okay, the time machine's been put away for 10 years. However, we are not finished partying because Reverend Nicole and Reverend Michael are getting married. So we're going to have a shower for them. Janice and I are at it again. We need a few volunteers to help us. It's not for a while away, but we wanted to just let you know. This is the last flyer I have. We'll bring more. But if you want to help plan their shower, I'll be back there. Thanks.
Yeah, except you forgot the wedding. And the one thing that she forgot to tell you is that the wedding is September 15th. We have a venue picked out. You're all invited. However, there's a catch. It's planned seating. We have to have you sign up. So the sign-up form is in the back by the back door. And so please sign up so we can make sure you have a seat there. And we'll leave that sign up for about another month, and then we're turning it in to the wedding planner. So now it's that time where we turn to the meditative part of the service. And if you will, just get comfortable in your seat. Go within to that place where all is well. Know the power and the presence of the divine is in this very room, right here and right now. And in this time we'll be led by the music of Alan Boustede and the words of Reverend Donna Baranier.
I invite you to turn within as I share these words of Ernest Holmes. He says, I walk in joy. We should not consider that our good is something that is to transpire in the future, but rather that it is transpiring right now, today, in the present moment in which we live. We need to recognize that the good we desire can become ours only as we accept it now. Every good thing necessary to my success and already belongs to the realm of God, which I know is at hand. So today, I am expecting good to happen to me. I anticipate success in all of my activities. I believe that divine intelligence guides me in all of my right activities. And because I know that God always succeeds, it now succeeds in and through my endeavors. I know that everything necessary to my success is being brought about, and there is complete fulfillment of every worthwhile idea. I accept that God is active in my affairs. Knowing that God is in all people, there is joyous cooperation with others. Therefore, I help and am helped. Knowing that God is the great giver, I accept God's gift and myself become a giver to life. The abundance of God that contains all that belongs to my life of good is available to me today. I accept it now, and it manifests in and through me. And I invite us to enter into the silence in this moment, contemplating these words of walking in joy. How grateful I am to have spent a few moments in the silence, of recognizing and knowing it is that divine life that's having its way in, through, and as me, in and through as each and every one of us this morning. Grateful to be here with like minds, open hearts, and knowing that all we need is love, because God is love in action. Grateful to recognize the fathers and those who provide father-like role models for all of us. How grateful I am for their presence in our lives and throughout this service this morning, because I recognize that divine masculine is powerful. It is life. It is giving. And grateful for this time together this morning, blessing Alan and his musicians, Reverend Michael and Chris and Rock, and just absolutely knowing we are all here by divine appointment, knowing all there is God, all there is love. I feel grateful to be here this morning, and so it is.
Fortunate this morning to have a little combo. I put it together, and it's so much fun. And you know, I just love my musicians. I call them my musicians. They're their musicians, but when I have them, they're mine, and I'm so privileged. I don't know why I do that, but I want to introduce our bassist, Max Myrick. And we have on the piano someone that I looked up and I did my research and I said, I want this guy. Actually, that's not true. He came referred. Someone said, you should use this guy. And then I checked him out, you know, like people do. And his name is Alex Flavel. Alex was one of 7 finalists just a couple of months ago at the American Jazz Pianist Competition. They were chosen from all over the country. And he is sort of the star recipient of the K-Jazz Music Scholarship in Jazz at Cal State Long Beach. He turned down offers from, you know, the best institutions in the country to sort of be their banner musician. And anyways, we're very pleased to have him. Well, please welcome Alex Flavel. And we have Javier Vergara on saxophone, the veteran of the studios, and he is the solo saxophonist for Pancho Sanchez and for many other things I don't even know. And we're so privileged to have them. We're going to do Billy's Bounce by Charlie Parker. I have a concert in Santa Barbara. Traffic has been so amazing this weekend. I have to get out of here. So thank you all for coming. We have Caleb Robbins coming up after the message, and you are gonna love it. Thank you so much. One time. Sing it, play it out. You can sit down now.
You know, there's always something about joy. When you're in it, you never want it to end, huh? Yeah, so. I told you we had a great program here, huh? It's only just beginning. It's only just beginning. And so, Nicole, a few weeks ago, had this great Mother's Day program where she brought two of the members of the community in. And not to be outdone by her, I'm bringing two of our strong male community members in. You know, it's something about the divine feminine. They think they've got all the fun because they do all the nurturing, all the loving, all the wonder, because they know how to bring creation into form. But there's a bookend to that. And it's what I'm calling the Divine Father principle today. And that is, it's the other end. It's the part of the divine that always pushes creation. Because Ernest Holmes tells us the only thing that cannot stop is the creative process. That's what's always pushing creation, always pushing conscious evolution. It's marching forward one foot in front of the other over and over again. And I want to introduce that to you with a poem. It was a lengthy poem. I shortened it, but it's still a couple of 3 minutes long. So it goes like this. The poem is called The Race. It's by D.H. Groberg. Whenever I start to hang my head in front of failure's face, my downward fall is broken by the memory of a race. A children's race, young boys, young men, how I remember well. Excitement sure, but also fear. It wasn't hard to tell. They all lined up so full of hope, each thought to win that race or tie for first. Or if not that, at least take second place. Their parents watched from off the side, each cheering for their son. And each boy hoped to show his folks that he would be the one. The whistle blew and off they flew, like chariots of fire. To win, to be the hero there, was each young boy's desire. One boy in particular, whose dad was in the crowd, was running in the lead and thought, my dad will be so proud. But as he speeded down the field and crossed a shallow dip, the little boy who thought he'd win lost his step and slipped. Trying hard to catch himself, his arms flew every place, and midst the laughter of the crowd, he fell flat on his face. As he fell, his hope fell too. He couldn't win it now. Humiliated, he just wished to disappear somehow. But as he fell, his dad stood up and showed his anxious face, which to the boy so clearly said, get up and win that race. He quickly rose, no damage done, behind a bit, that's all, and ran with all his mind and might to make up for his fall. The poem goes on and tells that story 3 different times he fell. And it ends like this. It goes like this. So far behind the others now, the most he'd ever been, still he gave it all he had and ran like he could win. 3 times he'd fallen stumbling. 3 times he rose again. Too far behind to hope to win, he still ran to the end. They cheered another boy who crossed the line and won first place. Head high and proud and happy, no falling, no disgrace. But when the fallen youngster crossed the line in last place, the crowd gave him even a greater cheer for finishing the race. And even though he came in last with head bowed low, unproud, you would have thought he'd won the race to listen to the crowd. And to his dad, he sadly said, "I didn't do so well." "To me, you won," his father said. "You rose each time you fell. And now when things seem dark and bleak and difficult to face, the memory of that little boy helps me in my own race. For all of life is like that race with ups and downs and all. And all you have to do to win is rise each time you fall. And when depression and despair shout loudly in my face, another voice within me says, 'Get up and win that race.'" So that other voice is what I'm talking about, the beautiful divine masculine that says, "Get up, do it again, stretch yourself, never give up," because it's pushing the creative process. If we don't get what we want, we do it again until we do. And I'm going to expand a little bit more on this, but now I want to introduce my counterparts to tell their very compassionate story about what fatherhood is to them. Rock Robbins is going to start talking about his own experience. And Chris is going to give us a little wisdom about how being fathers to others that aren't our specific bloodline will go. Right?
Good morning. So I remember that day distinctly. It was when I was going to see my father as a young boy. I was probably around 9 years old, little Rocky Robbins. So my mother, Nancy, and I lived in an apartment complex in Costa Mesa. My father, Robert, had left my mother and I when I was just 1 year old. So he was coming to visit my mom and me. It was summer, it was long days and lots of playtime with kids of the neighborhood. But today was about sharing that time with this stranger who was my father. While I don't remember all of the details, I remember walking to our community pool. This was the first time I was ever going to have real one-on-one time with him. He was this big man, his goatee and beard, bald head. He just was larger than life to me. And here I was, this brown-haired young kiddo full of life and exuberance. We entered the gated pool area and, put our towels down and dove into the water. We swam around, did laps with me trying to keep up. I remember I held on to his neck, and as he swam us around with his strong arms. It's like a dream come true for me. When my father was done swimming, he lounged in the chair off to the side of the pool, and now it was showtime. This was my time to show him what I could do. And so, I swam hard. I was doing jumps and flips and twists, and I called out to him, "Did you see that? Did you see me?" He looked on as I flipped and flopped around like a maniac for him. It was just perfect memory, frozen in time for me. I didn't know it at the time, but it would be the last time I would ever see him. Fast forward a lifetime to when Stacy and I got to have our two boys, Caleb and Seth. So many great memories. Oh my gosh. First time tub in the kitchen sink, of course, for little Caleb. He was little one time, amazingly enough. And then, the first time Caleb met and held his baby brother on the couch. Caleb's sitting there, and here's your brother, Seth. And it's like, "Oh, it's my brother, it's my brother." And it's all about 5 seconds. And it's like, then he's set up, all done, and Seth's almost falling. Okay. Thank you. Soccer games in our backyard when the boys were small enough to have your backyard be like a soccer field. Jumping on a trampoline with them over and over, and then timing it just right so one would be launched ridiculously high, just laughing like crazy. Yeah, definitely higher than the mom-approved height safety regulations. I remember taking the boys to the local park and us doing like choreographed lightsaber battles. You know, you can check it out on YouTube here sometime soon. You know, body surfing in the ocean, complete with safety lessons and tips on catching the wave just the right time. Hiking in Sedona, you know, and climbing rocks maybe a little too high. You know, getting lost and having lunch in the middle of it all, and then finding a kind guy to give us a ride back in the back of his pickup truck. Walking through malls, reading in bookstores, and hanging out in the Apple store after lunch. I remember specifically getting my phone going and recording Seth going skateboarding down kind of a high hill. And I'm following in the car. Oh, proud dad moment. Definitely not a mom-sanctioned event. Family time on the couch while I read adventure stories, all in the different characters' voices. So many stories, so many adventures. So year after year, on Father's Day, my kiddos would bring me, you know, hand-drawn cards and gifts, and we'd all celebrate together. And the crazy thing is, during all that time, I never really thought of my father. Like, not even thinking of him. And you know, as I was preparing for this and reflecting on this, I realized there was something building up in me about all of this. And just like, I was angry. I was pissed. Sorry, I was ticked off. You know why? Because here I was, little Rocky, this great kid made from a part of this man. And he missed out. He missed out on me. And you know what? I missed out on him too, and all he had to offer. So, you know, what do you do with all that? Where do you file that? I heard from a wise person a quote, and it went something like this. He said, everyone has 2 chances at a parent-child relationship. Even if you had a less than ideal parent. You get a second chance to be a good parent with your own kids. So, why do I share this? It's because dads matter. Moms matter. Brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, your friends, we all matter. Life is different because of what we all contribute. Whatever our role or our relationship in life. So I want us to make that big difference in the world that only we can make, just by truly being and sharing ourselves. It's tempting to feel small and unimportant when someone doesn't show up in our lives. It can affect how what we believe about ourselves and how we feel. I want to share a quote about that. Our deepest fear is not that we feel, it's not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous. Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. As we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. So, let's all go out there and make our difference in the world. Thank you.
What a great honor to follow Michael and Rock. I have, and Michael, I have fallen many times, and I have gotten up, and that's why I'm here today. But I've also listened to Rock's story before today, and so my tears today have been preceded by tears as I listen to him. And there are lessons to be learned, and you've learned your lessons because you didn't have a father. And that's what makes you the great father you are. It also makes me appreciate the father I had, who was with me. Even through a divorce, he was there. And I've come out of just today feeling, wow, was I lucky. Very lucky. So we're here for Father's Day. And I want to say good morning and welcome. And I stand before you as a father, a grandfather, a teacher, and a man. And I am proud to say a male role model. Some say God is a man. I say God is divine and ever-present in all of our lives. God is a creator and God is love, and that's enough for me. So please give me a few minutes of your precious time to tell my story. I have a son and daughter from my first time down the aisle of marriage, and 2 children from my second and wonderful trip down the aisle of matrimony. From the second union, I have a stepson and an adopted son. I helped to raise all 4 and continue to be there as a father figure, and I will in the future. Our job as fathers is to help keep the boat steady and keep to the charted course. A father figure, or as I like to phrase it, a male role model, has never been an easy task, and I would like to point out, not been a solo affair. I have had a great deal of help along the way, from outstanding mothers to great teachers and to many others as I've traveled the journey of life, or this journey of life. Being a biological father is not the only way to take on these tremendous responsibilities. So many men have come before me, are with me now, and will be with me down the trail, living up to this task of life, of love. So many who have not fathered children have filled that role as a father figure by giving through the lessons of their own experiences, understanding what is best for a young boy or girl, and just being there as a man of wisdom for generations to come. In a sense, we are all in the same boat and have the same responsibilities to be great father figures and role models. I give you the words of the great American author, Clarence Buddington Killen, who wrote a lot of juvenile stories as well as stories for adults. His quote is, "He didn't tell me how to live. He lived and let me watch him do it." As so many women have shared this responsibility with husbands, partners, grandmothers, aunts, teachers, and yes, ministers, so too have men in this audience today. Whether it be a father, stepfather, partner, uncle, big brother, counselor, classroom teacher, or minister. We all have and have had the same task ahead of us. As a man, a father, and a grandfather, I honor you on this memorable Father's Day. Thank you for your time, and God bless.
Thank you, Rock. Thank you, Chris. I feel so blessed to share the stage with these two wonderful gentlemen. And so I had a great dad. And I'd like to be able to sit up here and tell you today that what made it so special was the nice, warm, gentle, soft hugs he gave me. But I can't do it. But what I learned from him, it's a dad's role, it's a man's role to do what is yours to do. I watched him with fear in his eyes change to a steely resolve and step through and model that for me, as Chris just said. The best way a father can teach is by live his life with integrity, with joy, with compassion. And my dad did that, and he lectured me all the time. And it's like, with Gabriel, he gave me I won the award for the best family member of the year, and the reason was because I lectured him. So that was like my first year with the family. But what this divine father principle does, remember, it's pushing creation. So it's a pushy part of ourselves, right? It's pushing conscious evolution. But what it's really doing, it's making us say we were not put on this planet to live a mediocre life. We were put on this planet to realize that we're a magnificent divine being that can create a world that works for everyone. And we're going to create and create and create until we get what we need. Now, I will tell you at different times, there's time for balance and there's time for lots of self-care in a very loving place. But I'm probably not going to tell you that in this talk. Because this talk is about being that creative impulse. And it's a perfect bookend because we have the divine feminine that knows how to, from the wonder of nature, bring life into the world, love and nature everyone. And you have that divine masculine that's pushing us on to a higher and greater good, consciously creating and recreating. And the two work as bookends, I really think. And what happens is, we do our work, and we say, what do we want to do with our life? We do our spiritual practice, however that looks. We get a message from Spirit. And then we're at this decision point. We get this message, something wonderful. It's going to take a lot of work. So we're at this decision point. We either break through or we break down. We've all done both. We've all had this wonderful feeling and started something and broke down. But I'm going to tell you why the answer for us is to break through. Because where did this wonderful vision come from? It came from you. You created it. You grabbed that vision out of nothingness, out of potentiality. And you created a form that you could view in your mind. It wasn't anyone else. It was you grabbing that. And the good news is that with that vision, it was tingling with spirit. And in that tingling spirit was a concept that it could happen. That if you worked and put your mind to it, and most importantly, you put your effort to it, you could have this vision. It had everything it needed to be fulfilled. And it's up to you to keep holding that vision. And one of my favorite ministers in the movement is Dr. Barbara Waterhouse. And she had this great book she recommended. It's called Sweat Your Dreams. Because it takes work. It takes a lot of work. We're always at decision. We can break down, or we can step and break through and live the world of our dreams. And this has been taught throughout the ancient history. the great Hindu text, the Bhagavad Gita, there's my favorite part of it is when the warrior, the fifth generation warrior Arjuna, is surveying the battlefield. He's surveying the battlefield, and he actually has the Hindu god Krishna in his chariot with him. The Hindus believed that when the humanity was struggling to find the way, they would send the god down to help them. You know, that's not a bad idea. Wouldn't it be nice if Ernest Holmes would come and tap us on the shoulder and says, "Did you really say that?" So Arjuna is surveying the battlefield with this grand and glorious god Krishna with him. And what does he do? He sees what his destiny is. He sees that he's going to have to fight his friends and his relatives. And he falls down to the bottom of the chariot. He cannot move. He's paralyzed with inactivity. Luckily, Krishna is there. And they believe a bit more in predetermination than we do. So Krishna tells him, "You know what is yours to do, Arjuna. And by the way, you aren't killing these people. They made their own choices, and they're destined to do what they're destined to do. But the most important thing is you have a sacred duty, and that is what is yours to do. And you need to go do that sacred duty." So this Divine Father principle absolutely tells us we're not meant for a life of failure. But do we get it just by sitting on our couch? In my case, I'd probably be sitting on a beach somewhere. No, we get insight from there. We get direction from there. But we got to get the party started ourselves. We got to sweat our dreams, sweat our visions. We have to put one foot in front of another. And then, like in the poem, it says, get up, do more, be more, stretch yourself. If you don't do it again, you need to get up, be more, do more, and stretch yourself, just like my dad taught me. So that's what the divine principle is pushing us to do. And so how about the setbacks we have in our life? How many of you have been in a bad relationship in your life? I'm going to get every hand up, including siblings, church relationships, businesses. So, what do we do when we experience a bad relationship? Do we say that I'm no good, I'll never have a good relationship? Because I can tell you by personal experiences, I've been in lots of bad relationships. And I'm almost 60 years old, and I'm running with a family as young as mine, enjoying every minute of it 24/7. So if I can do this, anyone can do this. And how about affirmations? How many of us have used affirmations and they didn't work? Be honest. Anyone? Affirmations didn't work? Well, and how many of us have maybe thought back in the back of our mind that this affirmation stuff probably isn't that good? Maybe. But what this pressing, pushy, Divine Father principle tells you is what's not working is you didn't have the wherewithal to keep pushing forward, to getting up, running again, stretching yourself until you realize what you had. Now, sometimes we have crazy ideas and they weren't meant to work, right? But we don't throw the affirmation out. We just change our mind and do the work that we need to do. And sometimes it's hard. Thomas Edison went through 2,000 designs before he perfected the design for the electric light bulb filament. 2,000 times. And he was so driven, he would take cat naps, he would have a ball. So every time he fell into a deep sleep, the ball would drop to the floor and he'd wake up and he'd do it again. So that's what the Divine Father keeps telling us. Push through. Break through. Don't break down. So I have a challenge for you. Is find something you've waffled about as good or you're waffling about right now. And use this concept. And if you want, go get some help. You'll talk to a minister, a practitioner, a friend in the congregation. But pick wisely on the friends you're going to have help. Don't get someone who will say, well, maybe you just need to be in a safe place for 6 months. Don't get that person. Get that person that tells you, don't you know that this Divine Father is with you right here and right now? Don't you know that there's a powerful good in the universe and you can use it? Don't you know that because you haven't done it before doesn't mean you can't do it again and make it happen? That's what the Divine Father does for us. It pushes creation, and it's making us evolve our consciousness. So you see, it's a perfect bookend. That knows we have to create and things have to change, with the Divine Feminine that who knows how to love and nurture us going through the change. So to me, it's a perfect marriage. So I encourage you to consider that. Enjoy yourself, but get up, do it again, stretch yourself, and go forward. Thank you very much. Oh, that's right. Sorry.
Okay, so I'm going to do this since I'm the mom and also a musician here. Alan had to take off for his concert in Santa Barbara, and the band is going to do a wonderful rendition of Gershwin's They All Laughed. Alan has been working with Caleb for the last year, and he invited him to sing this as the closing for this wonderful special Father's Day.
Are you ready? The odds were 100 to 1 against me. The world thought the heights were too high to climb. But people from Missouri never incensed me. Oh, I wasn't a bit concerned, for from history I had learned how many, many times the world had turned. They all laughed at Christopher Columbus when he said the world was round. They all laughed when Edison recorded sound. They all laughed at Wilbur and his brother when they said that man could fly. They told Marconi wireless was a phony. It's the same old cry. They laughed at me, wanting you. Said it was reaching for the moon. But oh, you came through. Now they'll have to change their tune. They all said we never could be happy. They laughed at us and how. For ho, 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 who's got the last laugh now? They all laughed at Rockefeller Center, now they're trying to get in. They all laughed at Whitney and his cotton gin. They all laughed at Fulton and his steamboat, Hershey and his chocolate bar. Ford and his Lizzie kept the laughers busy, that's how people are. They laughed at me, wanting you. Said it would be hello, goodbye. But oh, you came through. Now
Now they're eating humble pie. They all said we never get together. Darling, let's take a bow. For ho, 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 who's got the last laugh? He, he. Let's at the past laugh. Ha, ha, ha. Who's got the last laugh now? Thank you very much. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you very much. Before we get into the offering time, I wanted to let you know that the flowers are in love and memory of Steve Petty from Judy Heinle, and we had Steve's memorial service here yesterday. And now, if you will, take that which you wish to share and bless it however you will. Come to your heart. And repeat with me, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am prosperous. Thank you, God.
That's great. Thank you. Hi, I'm Michael. I'm one of the practitioners here at Seal Beach Center of Spiritual Living. And at this moment, we're going to do our closing prayer. So for those of you who have never had a prayer done for you, you can always come see us. We stand over by the windows. You can get a prayer after church for a 5-minute miracle, or you can fill out one of the prayer request forms and put it in the box, and we'll pray for you during the week. And so for now, I'd like all the practitioners and all of our ministers here at our church to please stand up and join me in our prayer. And here we go for our closing prayer. So here right now, I am so grateful and so honored to recognize the divine. That divine expressing in, through, and as us is joy. As that male principle that has been so beautifully expressed here today by our congregation. That has been expressed through the music, through all of the men here, and through all of the women. How we show up for each other each and every day. It is a joy to be a part of this congregation, this jewel by the sea. And with a grateful heart, let us all say together, and so it is. Thank you.
And I know we have kids out there somewhere.
Good morning. Working out our logistics issues. The first and foremost, we want to say 1, 2, 3. Happy Father's Day. And when we say Happy Father's Day, we really want to include all the special people in our life, and that could be a father, a grandfather, it could be a mom or a grandmother. And in that vein, we would like to invite our youth families over to the youth church after service for we're having a little ice cream social and some games and some little snacks to celebrate the special people in our lives. And then everybody knows about the fundraiser. Can Nicole come up on stage? And Reverend Michael. That's okay. You look perfect to me.
Stand on the way.
So, St. Luke's, you guys, we're not there yet. Hold on, just stop.
Oh God!
I promise we practiced this. St. Luke's is an open and affirming Episcopalian church near downtown Long Beach. And a couple years ago, their beloved minister or priest that was there for like 15 years left. And so they were actually searching for a new priest at the same time that we were. And I was privileged to be invited to the installation of the new priest about 4 weeks ago. And it's a big deal. It's a full mass, and they have bishops and visiting priests come, and all of them were women, which was like amazing. And, they even bring out the frankincense and a full choir, and it was really lovely. But something that they did just really touched me, and it was that each different ministry in the church, like the Eucharistic ministers, the youth group, the Gay and Lesbian Alliance, the outreach ministry, one by one, they all came up to the new priest and gave her a gift. And it was a gift that most of them were handmade, And it was somehow was representative of who that group was, but also to connect the two and the new partnership and the new chapter going forward. Wow. So in that spirit, we wanted, in the spirit of welcoming and connection, the Youth Church wanted to present Reverend Michael and Reverend Nicole this gift.
Can we open it?
Yes.
Just let me have it. Oh my God! Oh my God!
That's all of our handprints.
Oh my God!
Yes, now, okay, yes. Winners. Okay, now gather around. I had envisioned them in the middle. We just want to get a picture.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we'll do it in the middle.
Join.
So going. This is so going on the next video.
Next in. Both sides, guys.
Closer, guys. Closer.
Come on, Lisa.
Okay, all right.
Herding cats. Yay!
Yes. We're good.
Thank you. Oh, I have one more announcement. Can we just have April Bailey and Malachi just step on the second step, come forward? These are our brand new high school graduates.